What's up, guys? Brett Appley here from DailyFanMMA.com, back with another UFC Quick Picks on the Mayo Media Network. We have UFC Vegas 78 this weekend. Luque versus Dos Anjos in the main event. 13 fights on the slate, and a lot of fights that are projected to end early. So I'm expecting big scores on the slate. Always just something to note. Going to give you my favorite cash game play, tournament play, salary play, and a matchup I like from a DraftKings perspective. Before I do, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Why don't you comment below? Let me know who your favorite play is. Let's just go your favorite underdog play. Below 8K, anyone you like, I will listen. It's hard to find great underdogs this week, I think. Definitely some risky options, but if we're going to pay up, we need to find salary relief. So curious to hear where you're doing that. Let's move on to my cash game play of the week, which is going to be Rafael Dos Anjos at 8.2K. All right, I like Dos Anjos in the main event at 8.2K, though he's minus 113 to win. I mean, this very well could be a competitive fight. I don't have a heavy lean on Dos Anjos, but I do prefer him a little bit, especially from a DraftKings sense, where he should be the superior grappler. That should be his path to victory. Averages more than 2 takedowns per 15 minutes, and in his last 4 wins, 4, 5, 6, and 4 takedowns landed. Vicente Luque defending takedowns at 61%, just gave up 5 takedowns to Bilal Muhammad. I think RDA can have some success on the ground here. He's only 8.2K, again, the main event favorite. The fight's projected to last, 3.5 rounds or so, a little bit longer than that. So potentially a decent floor on Dos Anjos as well. I always like targeting cash games in the main event. And again, if you want to pay up this week, whether it's in cash or tournaments, you're going to need some salary relief, and Dos Anjos does that at 8.2K. I do think if he projects to be really popular in tournaments, pivoting to the Luque side is an interesting option. He's plus 155 to win inside the distance, where RDA is only plus 220. Plus 225. So Luque has finishing upside, should be the bigger guy, should be the higher pace striker, but I do lean toward the grappling upside of Dos Anjos. Overall, my preferred play in the matchup and my cash game play of the week. All right, moving on to my tournament play of the week. Let's take a look at Terrence McKinney, who is back in action again against Mike Breeden. McKinney's minus 274 to win. He's 9.2K on DraftKings. I almost made this the matchup of the week because I will be quite honest and say I don't have a ton of faith in Terrence McKinney at this point in his career. And I'm probably looking to be overweight on Mike Breeden at 7K. But, I mean, Terrence McKinney on short notice, how long can this fight possibly last? Minus 600 to end inside the distance. McKinney's minus 210 to win inside the distance. Minus 150 to win in round 1, which is pretty crazy. And he's fighting an opponent in Breeden who is all right, but doesn't really have a lot of athleticism, doesn't really defend takedowns or strikes well. He just gave up 9 takedowns to Natan Levy. He also was knocked out in like a minute against Alexander Hernandez. So McKinney has early knockout upside, early submission upside. The issue is if McKinney doesn't finish Breeden in round 1, he might just lose. And that's why the fight is so likely to end inside the distance, and why I think Breeden's a great tournament play at 7K as well. But the metrics are just off the charts for McKinney here. This is a clear step down in competition for him against Breeden. 9.2K actually saves you a little bit of money off the very top end, so he'll be popular, but I think McKinney's an obvious option for a fighter who can have success early in the fight, lead to a big score, contend with the optimal lineup. So I think he's a great tournament play there at 9.2K. All right, moving on to my salary play of the week. I'm going to roll with Isaac Dulgarian at 7.7K, though another fight I think is a great matchup against Francis Marshall. Marshall, a more experienced MMA fighter, has won a couple times in the UFC. Or UFC affiliated fights, and probably a better round winner than Dulgarian. But the thing is, Dulgarian comes from a really high level wrestling pedigree, and all of his regional fights are just him demolishing guys on the ground quickly, like weaker opponents. So we don't really know how he's going to look in extended fights. We don't know about his striking. We don't know about his defense, his cardio, his durability, things like that, which are arguably, why Marshall's the favorite here. But there's also the chance that Bulgarian is just an elite wrestler as he was in high school and in college, and is simply just a better wrestler than Francis Marshall. And because Bulgarian's so aggressive, he just lands takedowns early, controls Marshall, and potentially gets a finish. So am I so confident in Bulgarian at 7.7K? Not at all. I think Francis Marshall could win. I think Marshall's a good tournament play. But what I like about Bulgarian is that he's grappling dependent and aggressive. And if he wins, it's going to come from takedowns. It probably will come inside the distance. He's plus 200 to win inside the distance. He's going to put up a very strong score. So I don't know that the public's going to be too high on him in this spot. There's not a lot of hype around him or anything, and people do like Francis Marshall. So 7.7K, again, there's a little bit of risk here, but I really like the grappling on paper for Bulgarian, and I'm willing to save salary, take chances on him in this particular matchup. And finally, my matchup of the week, I'm going to go with Khalil Roundtree versus Chris Daukaus, another fight that's projected to end inside the distance here. Roundtree minus 174 to win, Daukaus plus 149, minus 450 on the whole to end inside the distance. Daukaus dropping down in weight from heavyweight to light heavyweight, coming off 3 consecutive knockout losses, while Roundtree's coming off 3 consecutive wins. I mean, that's kind of why the odds are where they are. Daukaus is been early knockout or bust, hasn't really shown good durability, the ability to take damage, and Roundtree's pretty damaging, and I favor Roundtree over the distance. He just won a split decision against Dustin Jacoby, but at the same time, Roundtree lands 3.6 strikes per minute, absorbs 4.1 per minute, 50% striking defense. Roundtree doesn't have good metrics at all. 54% takedown defense. Daukaus, in theory, is a better grappler, but probably won't test Roundtree there. I just think if Roundtree wins, it's very likely to come in the form of damage, potentially early, minus 160 to win inside the distance, save salary from the top end. Roundtree's a really good tournament option with early knockout upside. And Daukaus, his path to victory is an early finish as well against an opponent in Roundtree who has questionable defense, gets hit more often than he lands strikes, has been knocked out before. So, there's a chance that Daukaus just looks better at light heavyweight. Not that I'm expecting that, but at 7.3K, I'm willing to take chances on him. Plus 260 to win inside the distance. Good fight. Should end inside the distance. Winner projects for a pretty high floor and ceiling. That will be my matchup of the week. All right, guys, thank you so much for the support. As always, you can follow me on Twitter, Appley, _T_P. Best of luck in your contests this week. Take care. Stay safe. We'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.